can get this to do the thing. I need... Ooh, here we go. Hey guys, it's Sugar! Welcome to Tea and Tarot Tuesday! It is 6:30 and I am drinking tea. And it is Tuesday and I have tarot. My rig system is falling apart. Hold on. Stay. Do the thing the way you're supposed to. And we'll probably have special guests by the name of Shadow Moon Andriotti or Salem or any of the other fur kids. Give me a second. I'm trying to get this phone. Okay, we're just going to do it this way because that's just how it's going to have to be. Okay. Sorry, had to get the phone situated because the phone is best for my lives. Thank you guys all for tuning in. So I'm so excited to do this. Everybody seemed really happy about doing this. Hi guys. Hi Crystal. Yay, everybody's tuning in. So I'm going to let everybody come in for a second. So grab a cup of tea. I am drinking my tea in this Death by Decaf mug given to me by the lovely Denise. I constantly tell her that I love this mug. I love you too, Ray Ray. And I'm actually drinking hibiscus tea, so I am drinking a decaf tea, which is kind of ironic. It wasn't intentional. It was, I pulled the mug and made the tea and then was like, oops, it's a decaf tea. But, I am drinking a hibiscus tea. It is bright red. Let me see if I can get it in the camera without pouring it everywhere. Is it gonna do it? Oh, maybe. Maybe you can see it a little bit. There you go. Bright red tea. So, oh yeah, morning thunder tea. That sounds amazing. I have been a tea junkie for a really long time. I love coffee. I'm a coffee girl and I'm a coffee snob. So I typically do my coffee first thing in the morning and then I do tea throughout the day and into the evening. So, that is the things that I do. I like my beverages. I also brew cold teas. I have a whole cold brew tea setup scenario, however you want to go with cold brew teas as well. So, cause, when it gets hot here in the summertime, I am not drinking hot tea. So, I will drink hot coffee first thing in the morning though, because that's just how some things go. But I also will make my Louisiana style iced brew coffee. And if you haven't had that, you are missing out on life, let me tell you. So thank you guys all for tuning in. So, this is going to be an interactive session. I am going to pull some cards and stuff too. So, tell me, what is your favorite tarot deck? What do you like to read with? Have you read tarot before? Are you new to tarot? What is your tarot experience? So I want to hear from you guys. And then I will be replying and such to you as well. And feel free to share and let people know that this is going on because we need something that is not negative. We need some good, happy news, not right now, right guys? So we're not going to talk about that other stuff. That's not what we're here for. There's plenty of talk about that everywhere. We are here to have fun, talk about tarot, talk about tea, pull some cards, chit chat, just nerd out. What is your favorite divination method? Do you read tarot or do you prefer runes? Do you prefer reading tea leaves? Which I have done that, but I don't really do that professionally. I just kind of do it for my own funsies, all of that stuff. So, Amy, you have a tarot set of dice. Yeah, that seems really, really fun. I know Bill Duvendeck does tarot dice readings, Astro Dice. Yeah, the Osha Zen. Crystal, I've been hearing about that deck for a really, really long time. I probably should pick it up at some point. I actually don't have that many decks. I'm very, very particular about what decks I buy, and if I don't absolutely love a deck, I will rehome it. Oh, thank you for liking the earrings. These were given to me by Sucifer. Sucifer is one of my burlesque students, and they gave me these earrings. And they're wood, so they're super lightweight, and they don't weigh hardly anything, which I absolutely love. Oh yeah, Daniel Fire Scrying. Yeah, you know, we talking. Yeah, we know we talking. Yeah. I like to do that too. So the deck that I professionally read with is the traditional Rider-Waite deck. So this is the deck that I read for clients with, and this is not the first deck that I started to read with. So those that may not know, this is the Rider-Waite right here. This is a little deck. I like little decks. If you can see, it's about the size of my hand. This is about the size of like a traditional playing card, almost. It's not oversized. I have really small hands, so I like smaller decks. They're easier for me to navigate. And I totally understand why people like the big decks, because you can get the big pictures. But I really enjoy the smaller decks. And then if it's a deck that I want to see the picture, if I'm doing like self-study or whatever, I'll just pull up an image on my computer and look at it like, you know, greatly enlarged or something like that. So, hey guys, hi Thor, hi, I'm gonna try to respond to all of you. Oh, Amy, you've been known to set fires to a crystal ball. I do have a crystal ball, and I need to cleanse it and start using it. It was given to me by my friend Gabriel, and, so I do have one. It has been sitting in the sun, and it's, I just need to get it going. But hold on one second. I'm trying to do that. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. So but yeah, so this is the deck that I like to read with clients. I used to read with my Tarot of the Cat People deck. That was the first deck that I learned to read with. And that was what I worked at Famous Bar before it was Macy's. So I'm dating myself here a little bit. If you guys remember Famous Bar. So I was 18 years old and I was working at Famous Bar at the makeup counter, and I got my first tarot deck, and I would read for my coworkers at Famous Bar when we'd be open for those like 15-hour sales, and we'd be open to midnight and there'd be nobody in there buying makeup. So I just pull out my cards and I would read for all of the other makeup girls, waiting to get off work because all my work was done. Everything was done. I was just waiting for them to close the store. So, that was the first deck that I read with, and I still have that deck. Actually, I have two of those. I had one that died on me and I have a replacement deck, and I kept the deck that died on me, and I'm keeping it for a project, that I haven't had time to work on with yet, but I'm keeping it for a future project. Hi guys! Hi Stella! How you guys doing? I'm, trying to say hi to all of you guys. So, my next deck that I read with, which I do still have, is my, Aleister Crowley Toth deck. And this deck it's kind of controversial, and the pronunciation of the deck is kind of controversial. It's named after the Egyptian god Toth. Some people call him Thoth. I prefer to call him Toth until I'm educated that, and by someone who knows what they're saying, that is pronounced differently. I stopped reading for clients with that deck because it's a little too direct and it's a little too honest, and people don't necessarily accept what that deck has to tell them. It does not beat around the bush in any way, shape, or form. It does not have a neutral personality. And so I stopped reading with that deck because I started having people have uncomfortable readings with it when they weren't necessarily expecting an uncomfortable reading. So I have found that the Rider-Waite deck has a very neutral personality. It doesn't have teeth the way that the Aleister Crowley deck has. And I noticed when I was reading with the cat deck that the cat deck does not like relationship readings. So like I'd be reading for people and they'd want to hear about a relationship or what have you. And the deck would be like, I don't care. I don't care about relationships. So, all of that stuff. So it was really difficult to read like for the public for when I was dealing with clients and things of that nature. So I really liked the Rider-Waite deck, and I had to come around to this deck. So this deck actually came to me from a friend of mine who owned Karmic Corner. Her name was Carrie Lynn. It was a different Carrie Lynn than the most of us that know Carrie Lynn. But Carrie Lynn that owned Karmic Corner gave me this deck. This deck came to her because someone didn't like it and they said that it was haunted or evil or it had bad energy or something along those lines. And I was like, I'll take it. I don't care. I can cleanse a deck. I know how to cleanse a deck. And these earrings came from Sucifer. My student Sucifer gave me these earrings. I love them, so I wear them a lot. Anyways, so this deck came from Karmic Corner because it was given to the store because the person didn't want it anymore. It said it had negative energy, and they gave it to me because they didn't know what to do with it. So I took it home and I just started playing with it. I didn't clean it or anything the first couple of times that I just got to know it and all of that. And I think it just didn't like the person. It just didn't like the person that was reading with that deck that the deck belonged to, because I never had any problems with it. I clean it now on a regular basis after readings, that kind of thing. And I think it was just meant for me, and that it just didn't care for that particular person. And that's totally happened. I've had decks. Each of my decks have different personalities. I don't know if you guys have noticed this or not. So it's really common. If you get a deck and you just can't read with it, don't think that it's you. It might not be you. It could totally be the deck that you're using, that it just doesn't, your guys' personalities just don't connect, and all of that stuff. So if you really want to, read, maybe try another deck. Great question, Rebecca. So, for cleaning a deck, there's a couple of different ways. So, if your deck has that wax coating on it, which does wear away after a while just from use, but some of the newer decks nowadays have that wax coating, or they're even plastic. If that is the case, you can go through and wipe down each card individually. The other thing that you can do is run each card through smudge smoke, whether that smudge smoke is sage or whether that smudge smoke is incense, cleansing incense. You can leave the deck out in the sun so that the sun can cleanse the energy. So you want to just leave it maybe for a day or two in direct sunlight in a windowsill or something like that, or even over a full moon, something along those lines. The other thing that you can do is when I really need to deep clean a deck. So like it's Halloween season and I've been doing party after party after party reading with this deck, and this deck is burnt out and tired and has all of this energy in it from me constantly using it. What I do is I will reset the whole deck. And what I mean by reset the whole deck is I will go through and put the deck in order. So I'll start with like hearts, and I put all the hearts, all of the cups in order from the suit all the way up to the court, all the way up to the 22 trumps. I'll put all 78 cards in order with their house and their suit and all of that. And that will completely negate any energy in the deck when you do that. When you put them in chronological order, you're completely resetting the deck. And unless it's a deck that you've worked with for a very, very, very long time, it won't hold on to anything. So I try not to do that very, very often, maybe once every couple of years. And that's if I've been really heavily using a deck, then I'll completely put it in order and then let it sit in the sun. And that will like just wipe everything. So, that's like, if you feel like the deck has picked up some really bad negative energy, that's a way to do it. Another way to do it is, sit it in some salt or some earth, anything grounding. So grounding would be salt, rocks, earth. You can set it in some crystals. There's 1,001 ways to cleanse. And like I said, if it's got that wax coating, I even take a damp, not wet, but a damp cloth, and I will wipe the front and back of every card. When it's been really, really well used and it really needs a deep cleansing. So, yeah, Amy, yeah, that totally happens. They have their own personality. And you know what? I've been talking. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Yeah. So, all right. So does anybody have a suit of a deck that you prefer over anything else? Do you have decks that you use under certain occasions that you don't use on other ones? Excuse me for the cough. It's just because I'm talking a whole lot right now and dried my throat out. So I grabbed a couple of different ones. I also picked up some oracle cards. This is my newest set. This is the Dark Goddess. This is an oracle cards versus tarot. And I really, really like this. I do have a pet peeve with the art. I'm not a big fan of digital art. The CGI looking art is not, I'm a snob when it comes to that, probably because I have Rocky and his amazing artwork, but I just get to be a really big snob when it comes to CGI art, and I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. And I find it interesting that there's so many amazing artists out there, and these publishing companies are using this digital art. Let me see if I can find one what I'm talking about. There was one in here. This is a good one. So I love this card. But if you see her arm, it's not proportional. The art isn't proportional. And this deck, it's the CGI art is just, it looks a little rushed. It looks a little like they didn't give the artist enough time to do a quality job. Some of them are really good though. Like I like this one. This is another example. This looks like art from an early 2000s video game. Like something like you'd see on, I don't know, Champions, Return to Arms or something, right? So, but this is a really cool set. I've never seen anything like it. There are goddesses in this oracle that I'm not even familiar with. Oof. There are goddesses in this oracle that I'm not familiar with, which was nice for me. It was definitely nice to find something that I can learn something new from for a change. And the difference is, let's talk about the difference between oracle cards and tarot here for a second. So, both of them are divination techniques. So both of them, divination is like, I don't know, seeing into the future or something along those lines, right? Trying to prophecy. But the difference is tarot is always going to be 78 cards. Sometimes they can smudge it a little bit, but it's almost always 78 cards. And all tarot decks are based off of the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, okay? Now, there's an exception to every rule. There's the Messiah Tarot. There's a bunch of other tarot. But for the most part, all the tarot decks that you find out there are going to be based off of the Rider-Waite system. And so if you know how to read from the Rider-Waite system, you can pretty much pick up any tarot deck and be able to read the tarot cards, which I'll be able to show you that here in a second. Yeah, I'm reading Mike's comment right now. Yeah, so this is, no, Rocky has not done a tarot deck or an oracle deck yet. And I say yet because it's on my to-do list to get him to do that. But he's got a bunch of other things, other projects he needs to finish first before I can get him to do that. Because that's 78 images that he's got to do to make one deck, right? And so he's got like 3 graphic novels and a bunch of like commissions that he's behind on that he needs to finish first before I start adding more stuff to his plate. So, yeah. So, but anyways, as I was saying, for the most part, you can pick up any tarot deck, and if it's based off of the Rider-Waite system, you can read it. Versus with oracle cards are unique system to every deck. So every time that you pick up an oracle deck, it's going to be a unique system to this particular deck, which means that you have to learn a new system every time you get a new deck, if that makes sense, because each one is going to be unique. Now, they do come with books. Where did I put the book? So here's the book for this. And you basically just look up the card in the book, and there's a quick definition, and then you got the long definition. And that's kind of standard for all oracle decks. So this is what I've kind of found, is that if you are reading for other people, or if you are reading when you need information, so whether you need to find out what's happening next Tuesday at 5 p.m., or if you need should I go this direction or should I go this direction, if that's the information you were looking for, then you want to use tarot. I find that oracle is best for self-meditation, for learning on the things that you should work on, for self-improvement, that kind of thing. And so when I'm doing my morning meditations and my morning journaling, that kind of stuff, the oracle cards tend to be better geared for that. They're not necessarily going to give you future information the way that tarot will. And you can definitely do tarot for journaling, and I definitely encourage that for people that are learning, that every day you wake up, you pull a single card and journal what that card means to you and that kind of thing, and any kind of emotions or connections that can come to that. Totally do that. But you will find that the oracle cards kind of get a little nitty-gritty in the personal emotional sphere, versus tarot kind of talks about more like your everyday life and like the material world. Now, this isn't a case across the board. Every situation is going to be different, and it's going to be different for everyone. But in a general sense, this is what I have found, is that the oracle cards are better for meditation, for personal reflection, and tarot is better for looking at what is happening in your everyday world and your material world and how to function better in that. Now, I definitely use the Mickey Mueller cat deck as more of an oracle meditation deck. It's a little bit too happy, fluffy kitty for me to get the no nonsense direct readings that I need when I need to know information. It's a little too nice. And sometimes when something is a little too nice, it doesn't give you that nitty gritty information that you're really looking for to make a decision. Sometimes you need a deck to be a little mean and tell you what's actually going to happen so that you are educated in how to make that decision correctly. For example, if you've got a new job and you need to know what's going on with this new job, you know, a deck that's a little too nice will be like, oh, you're just going through a hard time right now. It'll all work out in the end. Versus a deck that is a little harsher will be like, girl, you got to get your shit together or you're going to lose that damn job. And both are right because it will work out in the end, but sometimes you need that little kick in the butt to find out what is going on, right? So that's kind of one of the reasons why I like to have multiple decks and why I like to get different perspectives, and have definitely found that different decks have different personalities. I'm not really a deck collector, and there's no shade to anybody that collects decks, but I find that if I am not reaching for a deck on a regular basis, then I shouldn't hang on to it. So I have different decks for different uses, and if I'm not using it, then I seek to rehome it typically. So I think I have 15 to 20 decks, which is a lot for someone who doesn't collect decks. But let me tell you, there are people out there that have 50 to 100 different decks. And, you know, that's a great thing to collect. If you are going to collect them, some of them collect them just for the beautiful artwork on them. All of that. So my plan for today, I wanted to pull an oracle reading from this Dark Goddess Tarot, because while the art on this bugs me a little bit because it's that digital CGI art, and I'm just an art snob. I'm sorry. I'm an art snob, and I'm not a big fan of CGI art, but I do love this deck because I love that there are like this one, Nematona. I don't know who that is. I'm not familiar with who this goddess is, so now I get to learn something new, and that I really do like. Now, I picked this deck up in the UK. This was one of my presents for me, for myself in the UK, and I need another sip of tea because my throat's getting dry again. Okay, so Daniel, what's different deck for each aspect of your working? Yes, it's a great thing. Like, so I have, I got a deck from Amanda Bell that is, As Above, So Below. And I love that deck for when I'm going through personal stuff in my life, because I will do the same reading with both decks. And I'll ask the same question, and I'll lay, both decks side by side, and I'll be able to see this is what's happening in the metaphysical realm and what I need to be aware of, and this is what's happening in the mundane world and what I need to be aware of. And I love that deck for that reason, because it gives me so much information. This deck this new Oracle deck is like my bad bitch deck, and this I used, so I picked this up at the Left Hand Path Consortium in London, or not London, it was in Portland. It was in Weymouth. No, it was actually in Portland. Portland, UK, which is in Dorset. And it's from the Portland Magic Witch shop that they have there. They were a vendor at the consortium. And this is only available in the UK, like it's UK artists that made this, which is the other reason why I bought that. And I dropped the things. Okay. which is the other reason why I bought that. Let me see. It says on the box somewhere. Here we go. Designed in the UK, printed in the UK for F. Peters and K. Osborne. So, I don't think this is going to be released in the US, which is the other reason why I bought it. And so my Bad Bitches Oracle, that's what I'm calling it. It's the Dark Goddess Oracle, but I'm going to call it the Bad Bitches Oracle. And every day in the UK, which if you're on my Patreon, I'm detailing the entire story of my trip. And I haven't quite gotten to this section yet on my Patreon, but when things started to get scary with the virus and everything shutting down, I would pull a card from this deck and be like, what the fuck should I do? And should I be worried? Should I not be worried? And this deck basically said, bitch, everything's going to be fine. You just got to mind yourself, you know? You just got to mind yourself. And so that was comforting. It was very comforting because I knew that this deck would tell me what I needed to do. And we actually got on the last flight out of the UK before they shut everything down. So it was a very, very interesting thing. So if you'd like to hear all the details of that story, you can join our Patreon for $3. And I've already uploaded like 300 photos and have done several different vlogs and videos and stuff about this trip. And I'm not even halfway through yet. So I am giving you detailed information, tons of photos, tons of stuff. And I'm uploading that like every other day because it takes me like 4 hours to make one post. But, so I'm going to pull that. And then the other thing I was going to pull, and it fell on the floor again, is my zombie tarot. So I figured with all of the scariness that is going on and everybody joking about the virus outbreak and that it's the zombie apocalypse, that I would use my zombie tarot. I typically use this during Halloween. No, Beth, I really don't have an age limit for readings. I've read for children. I require the parent to be present. So, it does get a slight privacy issue because the parent has to be present for that. And so if any information comes up in the reading that the child doesn't want the parent know, that goes out the window. But I do, require, the parent to be present, for the reading. And that's usually not a problem. Parents don't mind. It's the kids that are like, I don't want my parents to know what's going on. But yeah, so I'm going to pull from the Zombie Tarot. I usually read with this deck during the Halloween season when I'm doing Halloween parties, because it's just a great deck for that. And this is a theme deck. Excuse me while I'm trying to get comfortable. My ankle's a little cranky. Okay, so this is a theme deck, and typically I can't speak for other readers, but I have found that it's hard for me to read with themed decks because they stick so hard to the theme that sometimes the cards don't mean what they're supposed to mean. However, I would say this deck is the exception to that rule. This deck is really, really good. It sticks to its theme, but the cards are concise. It's clear to tell what they mean. And I think that they did a very, very good job with this deck. And so I absolutely love this. So I like to break this out for my horror aficionados and all of that. So yes, so I'm going to be doing private readings. So the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to do a big public reading right now. And then if anybody would like me to pull a card, I'm asking you to tip me to do that because this is my income right now. So all my income went away until I don't know when. If you can tip me, I will pull a card directly for you. And then if you want a private reading, my private online readings are only $20. So, Sue, that's a hard question. So what I did is I went to the store, which you can't do right now, sadly. But I went to the store and I sat with all of the cards they had in the display case and just talked to them and see who wanted to go home with me. And that's how I came up with my Cat People deck, which I absolutely love. And the other way is just buy one online that you like the art of. And if it works for you, it works for you. And if it doesn't, try another one. There's people will tell you to start with the Rider-Waite. I did not start with the Rider-Waite. I would start with a beginner deck. I started with a hard deck actually to learn with. But if that's the deck that calls to you, then that's the deck that calls to you. There is a great, I think it's called the Greer Tarot. I will post a link after this video. But she does a Rider-Waite spinoff where her artwork is it's very similar to the Rider-Waite artwork, but the coloring is beautiful. It's a larger print, all of that. And that is a great starter deck because it's going to teach you the Rider-Waite system, but the art is a little bit more appealing than the traditional Rider-Waite art, which kept me from using the Rider-Waite from a very long time because I didn't like the art. And it actually took me receiving this deck as they didn't want it because it was haunted. And then me starting to play with it for me to fall in love with the Rider-Waite, to be honest. I'm a little contrary though, as you all know. So, okay. So do you guys want me to pull a tarot card first or an oracle card first? So that is the question. Yes, Peggy, it's all about the feeling because when you're reading to be there's a couple of different methods of reading and we can talk about this. We can start doing tarot classes. Maybe how long this goes on, we can probably do that every Tuesday, have tarot class. But there's a couple of different ways to read. Okay, everybody's saying the oracle, so I'm gonna put these zombie cards down first. But there's a couple different ways to read tarot. You can either do the intuitive method where you look at the pictures and you just tell a story based off of what the pictures are saying. And then you begin to learn what those pictures mean for you. Or you can do the book method where you read a whole bunch of books and you always look up all the meanings to all the books and all the cards and all of that and try to memorize. And the thing is that really neither one of those is good. I recommend a blend of both because you want to start. I usually tell people to start with the intuition method so that you get used to using your intuition to read, but you should know what the traditional meanings are so that, and you will find that I like to compare my decks. So I will lay out I'll grab the 4 cups out of one of my decks and I will lay out the 4 cups from every single deck that I have and compare and contrast the difference of those. And you wouldn't believe what I learned just from doing that. It's amazing. Okay, so everybody wants the oracle. So I'm going to shuffle these girls, my bad bitches oracle. With all of these dark goddesses, and we're going to learn something new because most of these ladies I am not familiar with. I have not heard of a lot of these goddesses in this tarot deck, and I thoroughly enjoy, after being a professional witch for a very long time and a practicing pagan for an even longer time, to come across something where I'm not familiar. It's like unique at this point. So, and I'm just doing a little shuffly shuffle here. I believe there's only like 30 cards in this. I haven't really played with this too much, to be honest, guys. It doesn't say. Alright, well, maybe we'll have to count them someday. Not right now, though. That ain't happening right now. Okay. So, pick a card, any card. I'm going to... Ooh, they're slippery because they're brand new. I'm going to grab one from right here in the middle. What do we got here? Ooh, yeah, this is one I am not familiar with. And this is a good card to have, guys. So this is Ngana. It's, I don't know if it's mirrored for you or just mirrored for me, but it's Eingana, Ngana, and it says health. Look at that right there, down at the bottom. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to get the bookie book and see what the bookie book says. They are alphabetized in Ghana. All right, so now I'm going to read this to y'all. In Ghana, or health, deep down the body always knows. Ignore to welcome in more woes. Seek a cure, advice and trust. Don't be proud, good health's a must. By the power of the dark goddess in me, protection in place, blessed be. All right, so the dark goddess guidance. Your well-being is paramount. If your emotional state becomes foggy or overcome with troubles and worries, you cannot function at your highest good, and others suffer too. If your body has been flashing signs at you like a sore joint, cramps, and aching, back or itchy skin, then now you really need to get it seen to. Putting things off, saying you'll get around to it later, or pretending everything is fine is no longer okay. Yes, it's true, we seldom feel totally on top of the world, nor are we often without some ailment or room for improvement. But if you have turned this card now, then Ngana comes to the state of things are not all okay. Ignorance in matters of health is a poor excuse. Ask Ngana for the courage to face your fears and seek the help you need. The sooner, the better. And the better the outcome will be. Okay, so Dark Goddess Foresight. Get yourself checked out. Speak about what ails you, for help is at hand from an unexpected quarter. You are not alone in your troubles. Others can offer great guidance. Exercise more, drink plenty of water, and breathe. Walk in nature, through the woods, by the sea, and around the lake or reservoir. Ngana revealed. The archetypal shaman, or the Aboriginal origin, also known as Dreamtime Snake. She is the primordial goddess of Dreamtime, the mother of humanity and all the water animals. She bestows health and longevity, sustains through her invisible mystical umbilical cord, attached to every living thing. Her demise would therefore see the death of us all. So, I think that's very in tune for right now. That's very connected to everything that we're all obviously going through together. So, I really do love this deck, despite the fact of me whining about the art. I do love this deck, and I will get over, me bitching about the art. I'll get over it. But I just have a pet peeve about digital art. But this deck called to me. So there was there were two decks that I was looking at the event. The other one was the Alchemy Gothic English Tarot by the brand Alchemy Gothic, which is a designer brand in England that makes like Gothic jewelry and clothing, kind of like Lip Service. For those of you that are familiar with Lip Service or Trip or those kind of brands, Alchemy Gothic is one of those, and they originate in England. And so they had their tarot deck, and I was trying to decide between this one and that one, and this one was actually like 5 pounds more, maybe 6 pounds more than the Alchemy Gothic Tarot. And I kept thinking about this deck. It kept, I was like, no, this is the one that I really want, is the Dark Goddess Tarot, or Oracle cards. So this is the one that I bought, and I knew that, this was one that I really wanted it because I was willing to pay more money, cause I am a thrifty bitch. And, so the fact that I paid more money for this one over the other one meant that I really, really wanted this one. Peggy, not every deck comes with a book. Now, every oracle will come with a book, but not every tarot deck will come with a book. So that is one of the things. Sometimes you have to buy the book separately. Sometimes it'll come with a little paper. I might have it on this one. No, but I don't see it anymore. But sometimes it'll come with a teeny tiny little paper book. But most of the time they don't come with the books. Usually they'll have you buy the deck and the book separately, unless you buy a kit, and then the kit is more because it's got both of them in there. So like a traditional tarot deck will run you for like $15 to $20, and the book will run you $15 to $20. And then if you buy the kit that has both, it'll be $30. And it'll save you a little bit money to buy the kit if you buy the kit together. So I tend to buy my decks at events because I like to support smaller vendors and things of that nature. And I also feel like if it's there and I really connect to it, then it came to that event to meet me. So it's part of like connecting to the energy, versus just going to a store or buying them one online, that kind of thing. And, although I did, the Wild Unknown Tarot was one, which I do have, was one that I saw pictures of and was like, I have to have this. And Rocky bought it for me for Christmas, and this was like 5 years ago now. And I had that deck really before anybody else did because I saw it on fashion blogs. So when the fashion blogs are showing off a tarot deck, it's kind of hit its market. But then it became like super big to have that deck, and everybody had a copy of that deck for a little while. But yeah, that deck didn't come with a book either, and I bought the book separately. So just be mindful of that not all of the decks come with books. So this deck does have a book with it. I'm going to pull a card from this. Okay. And I'm just dropping everything. So this is the deck. This is the book that came with this deck. And then I dropped cards everywhere. Where'd they go? No! Hold on, I gotta get up to get those cards.
That's over here. That one jumped right out, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. This one. And... where did that one go? I just saw it. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm coming back. Don't leave me. I'm coming back. Okay. So, we had some jumpers. Yeah, 52 card pickup. It really was, almost. These were the ones, these 4 jumped. So, and you guys were telling me it is mirrored, so, some of this will be backwards for you. But this is that one. You can read that. See that? So this is a zombie girl on a wheel of knives. And this is the Wheel of Fortune card in this deck. This is a zombie surfer. And this is the Knight of Cups. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this one is the 7 of Hazards. Now, the 7 of Hazards are Pentacles in this deck. And so, this is a scientist doing tests on a zombie. Mm-hmm. Very, 1950s, end of the world is the concept for these. And then we have the Page of Hazards, which Hazards, again, is Pentacles. And this is a little zombie boy chained to his mailbox. I guess they don't want any bills delivered because, So, these are the jumpers. So, I'm going to read you guys what the jumpers say. So, let's look at the Page of Hazards, which, again, I said is the Pentacles. Page of Wands. Need some background music. La 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 la. Can you tell I used to do radio? Did you guys know I used to do radio? So I used to have a radio show called the Pagan Metal, Monday Night Pagan Metal Show. We played metal music and did witchy shit and all kinds of stuff. And it was on iTunes, but I don't know where it all went now. So I have to go find it. But I have CDs and CDs and CDs that I've been meaning to upload. So yeah, so I had a radio show, and then I had a show on 1380X AM for a little while too. Okay, so Page of Hazards is responsible, determination, and new beginnings. See, this is why we needed a zombie tarot deck, because during the zombie apocalypse, we need the zombie inspiration, right? All right. So the Page of Hazards, which is this guy. Okay. Okay, that should work. The Page of Hazards is just too cute to resist. Plus, he's giving out killer stock tips. His arrival in the spread is a clue to a new beginning. Look for opportunities involving money and education. Just be sure you're not too shackled to your current career or material possessions. Leave yourself through the opportunity to lurch in a new direction. All right. So, yeah, so this is the Page of Hazards, also known as the Page of Pentacles. Okay. So what he is saying is that take this time as an opportunity. Find ways to improve your life and improve your situation that you might not have considered before, because you're in a unique position that you never thought that you'd be in. So take it as an opportunity, take it as a challenge. Don't sit on your hands and yeah, you have a right to be upset. Yeah, you have a right to mourn the loss of the things that you have lost, and you have a right to be scared, but don't let that be the only emotion that you have. Get up every day and figure out how you can turn the situation you're in to your advantage, right? And that's what the Page of Hazards is saying, is determination and new beginnings. There's new opportunities every single day. You just got to go out there and find them. Okay, so the next is the Seven of Hazards. That is the mad scientist testing on the zombie. Okay, so I'm trying to make this so you can see it while I read at the same time. Okay, the test subjects are improving and your persistence will pay off. This current endeavor is still in progress, but you are pleased with the results so far. The only thing left to do is wait and keep the doors bolted. Though carefully planning, you'll soon reach the light of the end of the tunnel. So again, more positive information. More just, sometimes you gotta sit and wait. And let me tell you, sitting around and doing nothing is the hardest damn thing. Cause I have to do that right now because I blew my ankle. It is still all shades of ugly green and yellow. And I can really only stand for a few minutes at a time. And as a dancer who's used to being physically active all the time, it's highly fucking annoying. It doesn't even hurt so much as it just annoys the shit out of me that I can't do what I need to do. So, perspective. All right. So, Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. All right, that's the zombie surfer. Yeah. Zombie surfer dude. Okay. So, romantic adventure. He's the one with the ready smile and the surfboard underneath his arm. A natural charmer, the Knight of Cups is always ready to schmooze and always keep one eye on the exit. He can be fun to have around, but his mood will change like the surf, and he's often likely to steal more than a kiss. Watch your heart, literally. So, we like to call this a fuckboy. So, watch out for people in your life that are just the good time people, that are just there for the shallow enjoyment. And then when things get real and you really got to buckle down and figure out what you're doing and what's going on, they're nowhere to be found. So watch out for that. This is a good time. You'll be seeing a lot of these people show their true colors because they will up and disappear on you. So, that's, if that happens, try not to be too surprised. I know in the moment it can be really, really heart-wrenching. But this is definitely warning, keeping a warning out for the good time boy, because the good time boy is only a good time for about this long. He's trying to make up for something, right? Alrighty. I'm going to sip some more tea on that one. All right. And the last card is the Wheel of Fortune. So, those of you 90s kids, do you remember the Animaniacs? Because every time I see the Wheel of Fortune, I think of the Wheel of Morality, turn, turn, turn. That's what I think of. So if you guys remember that cartoon and remember that skit, that is the Wheel of Fortune in a nutshell. Okay? So, let me get up what this little book has to say about the Wheel of Fortune. Here we go. Okay. So, the Wheel of Fortune is luck, fate, and destiny. So, taking the Wheel of Fortune out for a spin may result in more than a little dizziness. Sure, some things are out of hand, but you'd be silly to leave your fate to chance. You control more of your destiny than you think. Opportunities are headed your way. Don't try to fight it. Just go with the flow. Yes, Mike, tell us the lessons we should learn, right? That is totally the Wheel of Fortune card. Wheel of Morality, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lessons that we should turn. Yes, spilling the tea while drinking the tea. Yes. So this reading has been all positive, if you guys didn't realize that. And this deck will kick your ass. Like, I'm letting you know that there are cards in here that will tell you that you are fucking your shit up and you need to mind your P's and Q's. And the end of the world zombie tarot is basically saying you are more control of your life than you realize. Take this time, take this opportunity to take this challenge that you're in and make the best of it. Whether that is spending time with family that you never get to see, whether that is cleaning and organizing your home, because I know everybody's freaking doing that right now. I can't wait to go thrift shopping after this is all over, because there's going to be so much good stuff in all the stores. Like, I need more stuff. But yeah, seize this opportunity. And if you guys flip your script on this situation and really make the best of it, not only will you be in a happier place, but you know, you'll remember this as, yeah, we went through that, but remember all the good stuff that happened too. You know, like, I got to spend a full week with Rocky. A whole week. He just went back to work yesterday. I got a whole week with him. I haven't had a whole week with Rocky since we got married. And we got married almost a year ago. So, you know, that is just, you know, so, yeah, times are hard, all right? Shit's weird, shit's scary, but don't focus on that. You know, take in the information that you need to have to make educated and responsible decisions. And after that, ignore the rest of it, because it's not doing you any good. So focus on what you're doing best, focus on how to make your life best, and grow yourself and your life and all of that. Zaku, yeah, you were totally right. When I'm in a tough place, I grab my Crowley Tarot, because that pulls no punches, let me tell you. Which is why I had to pull it for clients, because it pulls no punches, and my clients weren't liking being told what for that much. So, I have one client that specifically requests that I read with that deck. But the rest of my clients, I typically just use my Rider-Waite, because it's a nicer deck than the Crowley. So, I really do like this zombie tarot deck. It really has a unique perspective, and I learn something new every time I use it. Okay, so there were a couple of you, now that I got that out of the way, there were a couple of you that I think sent me stuff. Hold on, let me check. I thought I had this all figured out, but I'm still new at all of this stuff. Like, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I'm kind of just making it up as I go along. So give me a moment, because some people said they sent me some stuff, so I'm trying to figure out what that was, so I can do a reading. So if you are still on and you're still watching and you want your reading, this is when I'm gonna do it, okay? Yes, flipped your script. So I don't know if you guys saw, okay, so I got a reading from for Elizabeth, and I got a reading for Amy. Elizabeth, Amy, are you guys still on? I think Amy's still on, because I was seeing her comment. Elizabeth, are you still on? Okay, so I don't know if you saw the meme that I made. Okay, there's yep, okay, Beth, I see you. Okay, so I'm gonna do your reading right now, Beth. I'm gonna use this, the Rider-Waite. Oh wait, those are the two I don't need. That worked out. I have butterfingers right now, but I don't know if you saw the meme that I made about the three laws of happiness that I follow. It is, I have no short-term memory. Let me find it. And then I'm going to do Beth's reading. Yeah, I see it, Beth. I see it now. I'm going to find this, and then I'm going to do your reading. I made a meme off of one of Zaku's photos. Zaku's photo, which is Zaku's an amazing photographer, by the way. Where'd it go? Here we go. 3 rules for happiness. Be fully present in the moment. Set yourself up for success. So prepare yourself so that you can have a successful day. Focus on the day. Focus on having a good day or your next project, right? Give yourself time and all of that to prepare for that project so that it can be a success. Because if you're not setting yourself up for that success, then it's not going to be successful and you're going to feel crappy about yourself. So be fully present in the moment. Don't worry about tomorrow, and don't worry about yesterday, because yesterday is gone and tomorrow is not here, and we don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so just be fully present in the moment. Yes, I have no short-term memory. Set yourself up for success. So figure out, prioritize what is important to you, and give yourself the time and the energy to make those things successful. Because you are a success when you give yourself the time and the energy and the space to be successful. And if you aren't doing that, then why are you expecting success out of yourself? If you're not giving your best effort, you shouldn't be expecting to be successful. But I think we get in this mindset that everything should be perfect 100% of the time and everything should be amazing 100% of the time. And that's just not possible. We are human beings. And then my third rule for success is go where you are celebrated, not where you are tolerated. And let me tell you, this is a hard pill to swallow, but it is truly a smart one to learn, because if you are around people who feel like they merely tolerate you, you will never rise to your true self. So go around people that really lift you up and encourage you, because you will bloom and you will grow faster than you ever even considered. So those are my 3 rules for happiness. Okay, now I'm going to do Beth's reading. If you knew how tiny of a space I was working with here, you'd, oh no, I can't move that or the phone's gonna move. Okay. My desk is full of stuff. Okay, can you hear the cards shuffling? So, shuffle. All right, so this is for Beth. Alrighty, we're gonna do the pick a card, any card. And it's not 52 card pickup, it's 78 card pickup. Alrighty. Oop, And the cat just came out because I'm doing a reading, so you know how that works, right? All right, so first card is the Five of Wands. Ooh, we know what's going on there, or at least I know what's going on there. Okay. Second card is the Five of Pentacles. Girl, what are you doing with all these fives? What you got going on? Third card is the Hermit. Well, we're all a hermit right now, right? Okay. And the next one is the Two of Pentacles. So this card is your signifier card, okay? So think of a pyramid. This would be at the top of the pyramid, and then the 3 cards would be below it, right? So this is the card that connects all of the other cards together. So we're going to get to this last. This is the Two of Pentacles. So first up, we have the Five of Wands, okay? So what is happening here is these boys are playing cops and robbers, or they're playing war games or soldiers or whatever. And it's serious for them, but it's still play. Okay, so yeah, they're fighting each other and they're hitting each other and they're getting bruised and scraped up and all of that, but they're not actually trying to kill each other. They're just being mean, rough boys being mean, rough boys. And that is what's going on here, is there's a lot going on, and it can feel a little scary, it can feel a little stressful. And the wands tend to represent work, and that can mean your day job or your life's work, the reason why you're here on this earth. But wands tend to mean work or your job. And so there's a lot going on in this situation, and it feels serious, and you're probably getting your ego bruised, and you're probably getting some scratches and things of that nature. But know that this is an ego situation. Know that this is people playing at war games, not actually practicing war games. And having that information that this is just a play, that this is just people testing each other, seeing what their strengths and lies are, seeing what their boundaries are, seeing who's weak and who's strong and who's going to step forward, and know that it's a game and not an actual real life scenario should be a huge relief to you. So know that it's a game so that you know how to play the game. Okay. So that's what's going on with this card right now. The next card is another fives. So in tarot, an easy rule of thumb is odd numbers tend to be bad things and even numbers tend to be good things. It's not always the case, but that's kind of an easy rule of thumb, just so you know. So the Five of Pentacles, what we've got here is this is like a wealthy church, and we've got poor little Timmy and his friend out here passing by the church. And this card is talked about a whole lot in tarot, because why aren't they going in and asking for help? Why are they choosing to kind of suffer on their own, and they're walking past the sanctuary instead of asking for help, right? And maybe the help comes at a price that is too high. Maybe there's things attached to the cost of this help and they don't want to pay it. Maybe they've burnt this bridge and they can't go there anymore. That is not the case. What I'm seeing here, though, is I'm seeing some stubbornness coming. I'm seeing some irritation at the war games. And when you should be asking for help, you're kind of being stubborn and saying, I'm going to just do it on my own and make it happen. And sometimes that's a good way to handle things, and sometimes that's not the best way to handle things. So just be aware that that is what is happening here, is that you are toughening it out and suffering, and you probably don't have to as badly as you are. That there's a way to play this game and win and get what you need and get the help that you want in this situation without paying a massively high cost. So it's about finagling the situation and getting what you need. And there will be a price to pay, because there's always a price to pay. Don't ever not pay the piper, because that's when he steals your kids and all of those other stories, right? So there will be a price to pay, but usually the price is worth what you're receiving. So look into this situation. And that's what the Hermit is saying. The Hermit is saying, look deep within yourself and find out where you're acting from ego and fear and where you're acting from intuition. And make sure that you have all of the information, because if you don't have all of the information, then you could be making a decision where you are actually being misled. And a lot of times if something appears to go the way that we want it to, the way that it feeds our ego, then we won't look for the rest of the information, because that's the outcome that we are looking for. And so we want the evidence to support that outcome. They call that sometimes a false positive in like the scientific communities, right? So, the Hermit is saying, look inside and check yourself, check your ego, check, know that you're in this kind of like game manipulation scenario, and realize that these people really aren't your friends, but that doesn't mean they can't be useful. And that might be a little cold to say that, but when we're functioning in a world where we need to work and we need to make money and pay bills, we're not going to be friends with everybody. But that doesn't mean we can't be enemies with them. That doesn't mean that we can't be associates. It doesn't mean that just because I'm not best friends with somebody, I hate them. Like, that's not how this really works. You can not like somebody and still have a good relationship with them. And I think that's a lot of what this is talking about, is learning to kind of navigate that adult landscape with all of that. Okay, and then the final card is the Two of Pentacles. He's the overarching theme, and twos represent decisions. So you have a choice. You have choice A or choice B, and you're kind of in this situation right now where you're trying to decide how to handle things, and you've got a couple, two of options, right? And that is the overarching theme for this reading. So let me know. You can message me privately and I can clarify more if you need to. But that's definitely what's going on in this situation. And if I'm not hitting the nail on the head, I will redo the reading for you, because I pretty much guarantee that my readings connect. And if they don't connect, then I will try again. Try again until it does. But I've never had a problem with it not connecting, just so y'all know. So, but yeah, so you have a choice ahead of you. Know that you're in a game situation, war game scenario, and having that knowledge that it's just a game should give you an edge on how to win the game. Okay? All right. So the other person that tipped me was Amy. Amy is going to get a reading, and then I will check. Check that. Yeah. Okay, and then Beth, I will do your second reading for Riley. So let me shuffle these for Amy. Yay, good. I'm glad it connected. Yeah, I've almost never had it not connect, like, to be honest. Sometimes I'll read for myself when I'm supposed to be reading for a client, and then I'll just shuffle and redo, and then it's fine. But that's only happens like once out of 1,000 times, and that's just because I'm not doing my homework the way that I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm good. I'm really glad that connected, and I really hope that helps. And like I said, if you have any more questions, just private message me, and we will talk about that later. So, but I'm going to do Amy's reading right quick. Alrighty. Pick a card, any card. We have the Lovers. And we have the Queen of Cups. And we have the Page of Pentacles. Okay. So, oh wait, I need one more for you, Amy. Are you still on, Amy? Maybe? Ooh. Three of Swords. I don't know if she wants to be on for this one. Okay. All right. So Amy's got some stuff going on. Let's look at Amy's stuff, right? All right. So, the Three of Swords is going to be, again, the overarching theme. So this tells me how all of these cards connect to each other. The first card we have is the Lovers. Now, the Lovers is a popular card in tarot, but it's typically doesn't mean what people think it means. They usually think it means lust and sex and all of that good stuff. And it does, but not really. So, drinking some tea while I'm spilling some tea. Sufusur, I'm stealing that. So, the Lovers is about passion. So this is about the things that get you up in the morning, that get you excited, that get you out of bed. It's the thing that, while it can be work, never feels like work, right? Because you enjoy doing it so much. Okay? So the Lovers is all about passion, and passion can be dangerous. So passion is, sometimes it can make you blind. And typically when the Lovers come up, it's because you are being a little blind. You know, love is blind, but it's really not love. It's lust. It's passion that is blind. So when this is coming up, this comes up as a warning for that. We have the Queen of Cups. So when we have the Queen of Cups and the Lovers side by side, girl. So the Queen of Cups is the Queen of Hearts, and she is all about emotions and goals and just this whole heart-centered space, right? Her kingdom is that of the home and the hearth and the family, and moving from a heart-centered space. So we've got lust and love, right? And that can be a lethal combination. So we have the Page of Pentacles following that. Pages tend to be a little naive. The Page of Pentacles tends to be naive about money, tends to make money decisions without really educating themselves and things of that nature. So then followed by the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is heartbreak. So what I'm getting from this reading is that you got somebody that is shiny, that is pushing all your buttons, making you all excited about something, and it's really pulling on those heartstrings, but the warning is coming to not be naive about it, because if you're naive about it, they're going to break your heart. Okay? Sorry, this doesn't pull any punches, but they're going to disappoint you, and there's going to be some betrayal there. And this doesn't necessarily have to be about a physical, passionate relationship. This can be a mother-daughter, not necessarily mother-daughter, but like older friend, younger friend kind of situation. It can be a best friend situation, but this is somebody who's pulling on your heartstrings, and they're really kind of maybe taking advantage of your sensitivity and the place that you're in. And the Page of Pentacles is really talking about the naivety of that. And to get really, really nitty gritty and a little ugly, hate to say it, because this is Pentacles, they're taking advantage of your heart for money. Okay. And I don't think she's on right now, so ouch. Okay. So that is, we're just going to let that one go, and we're going to move on to Beth's other reading for Riley, because Amy, if you see this, message me, okay? And we will talk off live chat, okay? Because that is one part I don't like about reading tarot, is given the hard truths. And this is the nice deck. Okay. Let me shuffle real again, and I'm going to do Riley's other reading. Alrighty. Or best other reading for Riley. This is best other reading for Riley. And what I really like about this is I don't really have any information about what's going on in your all's life, so I don't have any biases, which is really nice. Okay. We're going to pick 3 cards. Pick a card, any card. We're going to start that one. This is 7 of Cups. And this one. This is 9 of Wands. This is reading for Riley. This is the Chariot. And we have 10 of Pentacles. So, yay, we're back to happier things. Okay, so the 10 of Pentacles is the overarching theme for this reading, as I was saying earlier, and we're going to come back to that one, but that is a pretty neat card to have. All right, so the first card we have is the 7 of Cups. So if you look in the card, you've got this gentleman in the foreground, and he's got all of these things up here in the air. Now, the 7 of Cups talks about your dreams, your desires, and your goals. And some of these things are good. Some of these things are bad. And this is talking about having a realistic idea of what your goals should be, because cups are hearts, and that is emotions, feelings, and goals, right? So the 7 of Cups is telling you to be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. And that's essentially what the 7 of Cups means, okay? The 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is, again, in this same thread, you need to work for what you want. So he's been working his little booty off, growing all of these wands back here, all of these grapevines or whatever this is in the background, and he's kind of resting a little bit because he's put in a hard day's work, right? And that's what the 9 of Wands is all about, is really putting in the effort, putting in the work to make it happen. To not sit back and rest on your laurels, but to really focus on what is important to you, prioritize that, and put in the effort to make it happen. And if it is really, 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 really important to you, try again, because you usually don't get it the first time. You usually don't get it the second time. And if you're lucky, you'll get it the third time. And if you really, really want it, it'll be worth it. So, the next card is the Chariot. Whoo, buddy. So, what this is saying, because the Chariot is all about moving things fast. Okay, when the Chariot comes into play, think about like, what was that? I always think of that old movie, is it Ben-Hur? With the chariot races, right? I'm blanking right now, but I just picture the chariot races when I see this, and they're running with like 4 horses on this little like cart chariot, you know, and they're just flying and dust is going everywhere. So that is what happens when this card comes into play. You go from point A to point Z in 2.5 seconds. So this is basically saying, let me put these back in order, that figure out what your goals and your aspirations are and be realistic in those goals and aspirations. Don't put the cart before the horse. You got to have the horse first before you can have a cart, or the cart's not going to do you any good. Put in the time, effort, energy, and investment, whether that is money, energy, time. Do the work. And when you combine this, when you set your goal, do the work, your shit's gonna move really fast. And not only is it gonna, Ben-Hur, thank you, Zaku. Yes, Ben-Hur. Not only is it gonna move really, really fast, but y'all got the 10 of Pentacles! All right, so this is basically the lottery card in tarot. Okay, so it means great happiness and wealth and stability. So Riley needs to do the work, or no, they need to set the priorities, do the work. It's going to move super fast, and then all of that investment is going to come fruition. So one of the things that I would say with all of this is be prepared for this fast movement. Be prepared for things to explode and take off. And when this happens, handle it smartly. Don't let this be like your big lottery payout and then you blow through it. Be smart with this, because this might need to stay with you for a little while. Okay? So, and that's just kind of like my basic advice. Like, the cards aren't really telling me that, but I'm just telling you that because I feel like it needs to be said, and that's part of this process. Okay? So, so let Riley know, set their intention really clear, do the work and effort that they need, and then it'll take off faster than they realize, and it'll benefit them. So I'm really, thank you, Beth, for getting that second reading, because I'd rather end on a happier note. Poor Amy. But I'm really glad that was there. So, I'm probably going to do this every Tuesday for the next little while. So please tune in. I do, one-on-one meetings, one-on-one readings. So if you don't want your reading publicized to everybody watching the live feed, message me directly and we will set up a private reading. And, if not, I will see you next Tuesday. Same kitty time, same kitty place, 'cause meow. I don't even have a kitty right now. This is like so crazy. I don't even know where they went. But I have 6 cats, guys, and I don't have a cat right now. That's crazy. But I will be back next Tuesday, same cat time, same cat place. And if you would like a private reading or one-on-one reading, I do a phone and FaceTime readings. When the craziness lifts, I will do in-person readings as well. But right now, this is my source of income until things improve. So I love you guys. Be safe, be smart, and be kind. All right, catch you guys later.